Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 107 of the N2N podcast. I am your host, Heezy, and I am joined by Paddy the Batty, Patrick O'Boyle.
How's it going, y'all?
Paddy, why are you sitting in such a weird place?
I don't know. I'm off. Am I?
You're like, I mean, you can see yourself. You can see it.
I can see it.
You can see it. We're not going to talk about how Paddy's sitting today. Today we are talking about our N2N. It's our N2N December episode. We didn't do one in November just because, like, it was Thanksgiving when we got back on track and we decided to take a week off. But we are back. It is December the 4th of the time of recording. And I thought for the Nerd Fact of the Week, we could do a fun game that is really popular on the TikToks, Patrick. And that is,
okay.
I'm going to name a film. And you have to guess blindly where it sits in the all-time Christmas movie gross earnings.
Okay.
And we're going to do the top 5. Are you ready?
Aye, Captain.
Okay. The first film I'm going to give you is The Grinch. This is the 2018 film, The Grinch.
And you're not telling me the other ones?
No, you blindly place them 1 through 5, and then we see how you did.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 2 because
2?
people spend a lot of money on that.
Okay. I'm gonna give you Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
That one's probably number 3.
Number 3. What if I give you Home
I
Alone?
think you're sandbagging. That's gotta be number 1.
We got Home Alone coming in number 1. All right. What about
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas?
Oh, man, that's been around forever. But like, you gotta see. I mean, I imagine
This is only theater gross for what it's worth.
Oh, it's only theater gross.
Yes.
That's gotta be number 5.
This is gonna be number 5. All right.
Yeah.
And finally, we have A Christmas Carol.
So that would be 4 for my
For yours. All right. Are you ready for the top 5?
Sure.
Number 5 is A Christmas Carol. Number 4, Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Okay.
Number 3, Home Alone 2. Number 2, Home Alone. And number 1 is the 2018 The Grinch.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
You know, it's interesting.
I mean, speaking of Home Alone,
yeah.
Actually, I have another nerd fact when we're done with the game.
No, that's the game. That is the game.
Okay.
Go ahead.
1 of 5, 20%. Macaulay Culkin just got his Hollywood star.
I actually watched that.
So that was really awesome.
His speech was really good.
Really good speech. And
his and Brenda's kids are really cute.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Schitt's Creek, you should go see his mom, Kevin. Kevin's mom is Moira, and it is fantastic.
All right, that is going to do it for... did that surprise you? Were you surprised by that top 5? I mean, there are some that I would have expected to be like way higher. For example, The Elf only comes in at number 8. The Polar Express comes in at number 6.
Yeah, those were big ones.
And then, like, I would expect like some of the romantic comedies to come in a lot higher. So like Love Actually comes in at number 7. The Holiday at 9. 4 Christmases at 15 actually seems really high. And then this one's the big one. Die Hard actually comes in at 18th.
Yeah, I mean, the fall and winter is it is movie season. So, people go see movies on Thanksgiving and on Christmas. So, they always do huge box office numbers.
You know, we are reviewing a Christmas movie coming up, if not this next episode, the one after that. Do you remember what we're reviewing?
So last year we did the whole Grinch, like we ranked and reviewed the Grinches.
That was a fun
I
episode.
think that was a fun episode. I had a blast with that one. Um, Jack Frost,
Yeah,
right?
the 1998. It is actually my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It is
Okay.
Jack Frost. So I'm excited for that one. A little bit of holiday cheer for our nerd fact of the week. Before we get into our main topic, which is our need to nerd right now, we're going to talk about our Discord. People posted stuff about video games this last little while. I know that the draft, people be drafting this current Magic the Gathering set being talked about in our Discord. Lots of trophy decks if you're interested in those, things like that. And then fantasy football is coming to a close, Patty B. It looks like it's going to be a close one for different sections, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't believe Adrian's gonna beat me this week.
Dude,
uh,
he texted me last night and he's like, oh, I thought I put in my quarterback. And I was like, oh, just tell Patty. Or just, replace it with, the only available
yeah,
quarterback, I guess. And then he does that. I was like, I'm sure Patty would have fixed it for you. Like,
yeah,
like I think
yeah.
I think he felt bad because, you're, texting the commissioner, hey,
I'm,
put in this player to beat you is, an awkward conversation. But, we've done it for other people this year. It's not like...
Yeah.
Like...
And this is it's a free fun league, but, Tank Dell getting injured in the, first play, basically.
So is he out for
no
the season?
points.
People were really sad about it on Twitter.
Broke his leg.
Oh, that
He
sucks.
on a stupid running play that he should not have been in the middle of. Somehow he ended up in the middle of the pile and his leg
That's too
it
bad.
was bad.
So yeah, if you want to talk about this type of stuff, fantasy football, Magic the Gathering, we are going to be doing a Smash Bros. Watch party of Watch the Throne in the Discord. So, if you have either never watched Smash, you want to listen to the Smash Through guys, myself and Matt, watch and talk about talk about it as we watch it. We'll be doing that in the Discord. So tons of stuff going on. And then kind of last bit of housekeeping, I just want to thank everybody, all the new listeners from our last episode from Witcher Season 1. It's really cool to see that episode doing well. And, we got new subscribers on YouTube. We got new subscribers on Spotify. One of the number one things that I ask, is, if you love the show, the best way to support it is always to share the show. So just want to thank you for being here. And, if you're enjoying it, you love what we do, share it with your friends. If you hate what we do, share it with your enemies. Make sure that they also know about it. Let's go into our Need to Nerd. The first thing that we talk about on these type of episodes, and for those who don't know, kind of that new listener, our Need to Nerd episodes, we try to do them about every month, maybe a little bit less, is our kind of just a check-in, what's going on in nerddom, what are we doing with our nerddom, and I'm going to go first, because I have a lot going on right now in nerddom. The number one thing, and I think that, I'm years late on this, man, and I might have already talked about it in October a little bit, but we are Fall Guys family right now. Maxwell and I are getting all golds, we've gotten multiple season passes now. We are Fall Guysing it up.
Yeah, you guys gotta let me know when you play. I've got the Xbox somewhat working now, so...
Oh, dope. If you have the Xbox working, you can definitely play with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Maybe we'll play it in our Discord with you sometime, Patty B. You
that
get
sounds like
Fall
a great
Guys
time.
games going. And if you don't know what Fall Guys is, it's kind of this, I don't even know how to explain it. It's so different, but it is, you race around a track, or you try to outlive your opponents in, Battle Royale style, games, and to collect points and eventually get a crown at the end of your run. And my son Maxwell loves it. It's a great game to play with him. He turned 7 this week. Happy birthday, Maxwell. And it's been really fun. We're going to play on his birthday with former host of Constructive Criticism, Quentin Pierce, and some friends. That's kind of who we play with, and it's really cool to see my closest friends game with my son and involve him in this type of stuff. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Next up for me, another one that involves Maxwell. Weirdly, this is what happens when you're dad. Is Maxwell has been watching Dragon Ball Z Kai and has gotten all the way through the Frieza fight. And we on this show we did an episode about our need to nerd Dragon Ball with co-host of the Nerd On podcast. Shout out to them. And it, watching Kai is so different because I never watched Kai. Like, I watched Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z Kai has like no filler. So the Frieza fight in Dragon Ball Z is 30 episodes long, and it was, I think, 11 episodes long or 9 episodes long in Kai, just for like comparison. So my son is going to finish Dragon Ball Z really fast compared to me.
Cool.
And then I got Elite Smash. That's kind of my next one. Something I promised myself I would do this year is kind of get over my ladder anxiety, so to speak. So in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you can kind of get you have like a ELO rating, so to speak, that you get, Patty, and then you go up or down depending on if you win or lose. And I was able to get Elite Smash with K. Rool this month or last month.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's something that I wanted to do for a while. I've always known that I could do it for a while. It's kind of like Mythic on Arena. If you guys are listening, you're a Magic player. It's kind of similar to that, except that like once your character gets it, you get to play only with you get to play in Elite Smash rooms and stuff like that. It's a little bit different, but yeah, it's really cool. It's something that I've worked on for a long time.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thanks, man. And then kind of my last thing is just been doing a ton of Magic the Gathering coaching, Paddy B. Just I got, I think, 4 or 5 people this week. Had 4 or 5 people last week, and it's really picked up, and it's pretty rewarding and fun to kind of talk to people about their goals. And I think that people don't really know what to expect from Magic coaching. And, I think a lot of people do it differently. And it's been really fun to kind of be do my session ones that I have written out with people about where are you at in Magic? What are your goals in Magic? What can I do for you? And kind of align to, okay, well, what do we need to work on? Does this align with your goals? How does it align with your goals? And, how do we evolve? And am I the right fit? I think one of the things that I'm not the type of person to do is just coach somebody for the money. If I'm not the right fit for you as a coach, I'm going to probably tell you, I've had session ones where I'm like, hey man, I don't think I'm the right coach for you. And, one of the really cool things about, and we'll kind of get into this as we joke later in the episode about some stuff, but coaching is really fun for me. And it's really cool that I have somebody that I can, bounce stuff off of in Mason who does it as a full-time job. It's really funny when Mason, years ago, when I got laid off due to the pandemic, I thought about doing Magic coaching full-time. It was something that I wanted to come up with a curriculum, have all of this stuff already laid out of here's the course, let's go over the course, let's talk about it. And it's really cool to see Mason kind of doing that type of stuff. And yeah, it's been really fun, getting to see people succeed in their homework, so to speak, and feel like at the end of a session or at the end of a week that they've learned something and can maybe, I had a really good session where I was like, my goal in this is for you to be able to teach this to somebody, or to be able to hold a conversation about it, about this topic. So it's really fun.
Yeah, that's
Is that more nerdy or worky?
It's both, and that's the best part, right? When you can blend your nerdy and your worky.
He says as he's wearing a kayfabe card shirt.
Yeah, got my name on the back. Sweet,
dude. That is hype.
Super comfy. This hoodie is super comfy.
Dude, anyways. I want that hoodie, except that I want it in a zip down.
Yeah,
I don't like.
so you can wear it open.
I don't like pullovers.
Mm,
Patty, what about you?
gotcha.
What are you nerding out about right now?
Yeah, so this kind of ties in with your first next to nerd. The after we recorded last Sunday, I immediately went over to Spencer's house and gave him my copy of Lebowski and returned his Star Wars games. And I have been playing The Witcher 3 just like every free moment I have had this week. It's also pretty great that we'll talk again, get more into this later, that there are some Magic the Gathering bans that like kind of stopped our Pioneer testing to allow me to like play this other video game a ton. Um, so I've been playing The Witcher 3. It's so fun. I haven't really gotten into like the crafting, like alchemy side of it, but just
I
like
haven't either, but the story's so good that like it doesn't even matter.
yeah, yeah. I feel a little disadvantaged in some fights, probably because I don't have the right, like uh biochemistry, right? The mutagens or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
um,
Yeah, dude.
but it's all good.
I might jump back into that game a little bit. We'll get into that a little bit later in the show too. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it, man. Like, it was so funny. I think we might have talked about this off air. Because I think on air I offered to lend you Witcher 3, but
Uh-huh.
off air we talked. Was like, oh, like what games do you have? Like, what didn't you finish? And the only thing that you hadn't finished was KOTOR. And so it's I don't know. It's cool to like be able to like I don't know. It's cool. This is something that I think that people don't do enough in gaming is like lend their friends video games that like they've just got sitting in their collection.
Yeah.
Obviously like you have to trust your friend and whatever, but like I don't know. You got to complete what 3 Star Wars games that you had never played before, and then
Two. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
stuff.
I got to do Fallen Order and whatever it was, the Republic Commando.
Dude, Commando's a good one.
So
That's a good one. Anything
yeah.
else on your what you're nerding out, or is every spare moment in Witcher 3?
So this week it's been every spare moment in Witcher 3. Now every spare moment is Pioneer, because I will be going to RC Atlanta with Nick and
Part of the
competing
show.
down there.
Nick Lassen,
Part of the
keep it
show.
cards.
Nick Lassen.
Whoop.
Yep. Whoop whoop. Yeah, and I am really excited for that. Like we've got an Airbnb with Josh Wheaton from Oasis and some other folks, so it's going to be just a great time. Yeah, so every spare moment now we'll be getting ready for that. But I do want to mention I have it is like December, and this month it's different for me than before because Shelby's sibling has a significant other with these 2 little kids, and like I'm kind of getting to experience like we're doing a lot of Christmas stuff for them, and so I'm getting like trial work in that area, which is interesting. And one of the things that we did with the 2 littles was we took them to go see Wish in theaters, new Disney movie that came out, and it's caught a lot of like strays online. But seeing it was a really good movie. There are things that tie into a bunch of areas of Disney. It's kind of like coincides with the 100th year anniversary for them, and so but it doesn't feel like disingenuous, which is
That's
good.
awesome. Yeah, I generally have a problem when like people are like, "Oh, this song sucks, so the movie sucks," or like, it's like, do you know the context of the song? Do you know how much information do you have going into this that you can definitively say like this is a bad movie because you didn't like this one thing?
Oh, and the music's great. Like, uh, I saw it last Friday, so before I went in to close it at the shop, and then like when everyone had gone, I played it on the speakers in the back, just
Nice.
like playing the song because I had it stuck in my head.
That's dope.
Chris Pine is in it as the villain. It's great. So I'm nerding out about that. Yeah.
Awesome. What's the next nerddom that you want to fulfill?
So what was it? There was something. So I still have to finish. I'm still through just the first 2 seasons of My Hero. So maybe anime. Like I'm gonna try and finish The Witcher. Is after Atlanta. And then there was a conversation where you were talking with Adrian about an anime that I should watch.
That everyone should watch.
Yeah.
So when
What is that?
Okay. So when Yu Yu Hakusho comes up, people know that it is one of, if not my favorite anime ever, and they like to tag me and stuff about it.
Okay.
Yu Yu Hakusho, for context, for whether you're younger or whether maybe you're in the age of myself and close to age and Paddy B, Toonami was like the way that a lot of Americans were introduced to anime. And so like the slate for Toonami for a long time was like Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Rurouni Kenshin. Like that's what you got to watch when you like were introduced, or maybe like Gundam, G Gundam, or like a different Gundam show might be in there too, just kind of depending on the slate. And Yu Yu Hakusho is just kind of one of the ones that was really easy to get into. It's about a 14-year-old kid that dies and becomes a spirit detective.
Cool.
So, no spoilers, Patty, if you're going to watch it, but, as he dies like 30 seconds into the show. I mean, he actually may be dead when it starts.
Gotcha.
But it is widely beloved among anime fans, and it is one of the really good starter animes for like shonen anime. So
what can you describe that for? Like, what does that mean?
So shonen animes are like the animes that were in Shonen Jump. So that might be like, like they're usually like tournament or like fighting animes. So like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho. Those were all shonen. Technically, for what it's worth, Yu-Gi-Oh was in Shonen Jump too, but
okay, got it.
You certainly don't have to watch it, but yeah, that would be a really fun one to do one day.
Yeah, I saw that. It was interesting, and maybe that's up there. One show I do want to that is coming up that I'm kind of excited for, that I don't think a lot of people are excited for, is they're doing the second season of Marvel What If. Again, I really didn't mind the first one. People had some issues with it, but so that's on my list, as well as there's a adaptation of the movie Shogun that's coming out in 2024. I saw a really cool, crazy trailer for that. It's on FX. So I'll be tackling that. Also, have to watch Shore Z Season 2, and the last season of Letterkenny's coming up, which is
awesome.
Pretty sad. But yeah. Those are my next kind of things.
I never watched Letterkenny, but it does look funny.
It's hilarious. Dude, like, especially if you... It just scratches every funny bone, and it's even more funny when you have Canadians in your family or your circle, or like you're a hockey fan. So...
Yeah, so for me, obviously you had already mentioned, you brought over The Big Lebowski, a movie that I've wanted to watch for a long time. Might do that. I have a lot of coaching this week, and it's Maxwell's birthday. But I will, and I still need to watch Jack Frost with my kids. So, it's pretty busy week, but I don't know. Maybe I can do it
Yeah.
during like a nap time this week when Alicia's down. And then kind of some really fun ones that I'm excited about. I'm bringing back a series that's called Constructed Clash. You familiar with this series, Patty B?
I am familiar with that series.
Yeah, so Constructed Clash is a Magic the Gathering play series where two players will, kind of pick decks and they kind of battle it out. We still need to decide the details of whether we're going to do 3 best of 3s or a best of 5. Where Matt and I will sit down and pre-show talk about like what decks we're playing, some kind of break down the decks, play the matchup, and then post talk about like, okay, what happened, what do we think this matchup is about, just from what we've done, whether it's these 5 to 9 games, but like what's the feel that we get, and kind of break it down a little bit. So I'm really excited for that. It's something I've wanted to bring back for a long time. And it was really hard to justify when I was doing, as much Magic content I was doing a few years ago. I just was doing so much, and it's because I like being busy. But having a new kid and when my wife's super pregnant with the pandemic, like all that kind of ended up to like having to get rid of some of my love childs, and bringing this one back it's really exciting, man.
Yeah, that's cool. Will that be monthly? Like once a month?
It's gonna be weekly.
Weekly. Oh, sick. Awesome.
Yeah. So, we'll still continue our Smash podcast and stuff like that, but, I gotta kind of figure out like if we're gonna do it as its own thing, if we're gonna bring it back under the umbrella of constructive criticism kind of stuff. It will be on the constructive criticism YouTube channel regardless. Our sister channel, but yeah, it's pretty exciting. And then, the next one is another one that has to do with this YouTube channel that I'm also going to do. So, next year, I plan on doing a video series where a replay, and I've actually already started doing this for what it's worth, but I guess I should tell you what it is first. Where I replay my favorite games of all time and tell you if they're worth playing still in 2024. I have 2023 written down in our show notes, but just going over like, okay, these are my all-time favorite games. Do they hold up? Like, are they worth it? If you're gonna pick them up, is it what goes into that decision? If you're not gonna like it, why aren't you gonna like it? If you're gonna love it, why are you gonna love it? So there will be a video that comes out here on this YouTube channel. It's like, here is the the thing, like. Here's the 10 games that we're going to talk about this year, and then there will be a review of each game every month. Well, at least one game every month, with kind of a next December there will be like, all right, what did we think, and kind of a summary.
Yeah, that sounds fun, especially if like it's done at the end of the month, so you can play along with you.
Oh, that'd be cool. That's a good idea. See, that's why you're here, Patty B. Yeah. So that's kind of like my next things to nerd out on. It's really exciting. Like, I've already started playing. I'm pretty far into Red Dead 2 right now. I'm pretty far into Zoid's Legacy right now. Lots of different. I think that people will be surprised by my 10 favorite video games. Just because there will be some that you've never heard of. There will be some that, I think people might. Man, am I boring you, Patty?
No, I just ran out of air.
Yeah,
Need to breathe.
It'll be a fun one. Content creation is kind of back on my agenda for 2024. As I dealt with my mental health the last year, I realized that like being busy and doing this type of stuff makes me happy, and I can't let the other things happening take away my happiness. So, nerd news. Magic the Gathering bans. Had to be today. We had in Modern, Fury and Up the Beanstalk band. In Pioneer, Karn the Great Creator, and Appraiser band. I don't know, Geological Appraiser?
Geological. Uh-huh.
And Smuggler's Copter, unbanned. And then in Pauper, in Magic the Gathering, we had Monastery supposed to be banned. So that's kind of some big Magic news that affects, you as somebody that's going to the regional championship in San Diego.
Atlanta.
Atlanta, sorry.
Yes.
Were you excited when you heard the news? Were you happy? Were you sad?
I know a lot of people were sad to see Karn go. I'm not. And during dying on turn 3 to a player wasn't fun. They kind of like teed it off this last week, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit before, where they had this video where they're talking about, bans are coming Monday, and then they like hinted at what was going to get banned by saying, dying to turn 3 to Appraiser is not fun. Having a sideboard card every single game is not fun. So it'll be interesting to see where things go in Pioneer without those cards and with the addition of Smuggler's Copter. I didn't think they'd do it, but hey, whatever.
I'm such a chicken. I'm such a chicken. I literally...
I saw...
Dude, I actually straight up asked them, and I was like, can I... Like, would we be able to... If I put it down, like... the first thing I said was 1,000. Like, can I spend $1,000 on this? And she's like, no, what happens if you are wrong? I was like, I don't know, we lose like $200.
Right.
And she's like, what happens if you're right? And I was like, oh, we make like... Do you know...
Like
hold on.
$3,000?
I want to be clear. How much do you think Smuggler's Copters were when I said this?
They were probably like 50 cents.
20 cents. How much do you think Smuggler's Copter is now?
At least $5.
Way more.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I haven't looked.
Dude, I would have made like over 10 grand.
Yeah.
I'm a chicken. I knew it too. I was like, that's what's gonna get banned. I knew it. I'm the worst. So for me, like, I have a RCQ. Are you already qualified for Colorado?
I'm not, and I don't think I will, just because I think now my focus turns to Pioneer. Like, I'm just all Pioneer until the RC, especially since we lost some time last week as far as prep goes.
So you're not coming this weekend?
I don't think I will be playing in that one on Saturday. I might play the Pioneer Challenge or something.
Cool.
However, I'm still going to Colorado because it's so close.
Yeah,
I'll play side events and secure whatever.
Well, the reason I bring it up, as we talk about this in our news, like, lots of changes happen in Modern, with Up the Beanstalk and Fury and stuff. But I personally am just excited because I'm gonna be slinging some Tron lands at people this weekend. Make sure keeping them on their toes.
Yeah, the true control deck of the format.
Let's go. Next up in nerd news, we have this might not have been announced recently, but I didn't know. Like, we didn't talk about it, and I just want to. The Dragon Ball. Is it Daima's release window is October 2024. This is a new Dragon Ball anime that takes place after Dragon Ball Super. Looks very different. And is kind of like a reset for the show in a lot of ways. And it is an original story. Pretty cool stuff.
Cool.
The Game Awards was also announced. And I got some problems here, Paddy B. Can I talk to you about this?
Yeah, sure.
So, first of all, we weren't nominated for Content Creator of the Year. How rude.
Damn.
Also,
next year. We'll get him next year.
I wasn't nominated for Coach. Rude. But did you take a look at this? I know that, like, you don't have a new next-gen system, so, like, maybe it's, less interesting to you, but did you take a look at the kind of the games and stuff?
I have not. No.
I've been devoting, man. I voted everything that I played a game in. I voted in, as well as things that my trusted friends gave me really good insights to, just to make sure that you gotta represent. But yeah, I want to go over just kind of the most important category for people, which is Game of the Year. where the options were Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, a game that we've talked about a lot, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Notable exclusions from this category were, Star Wars. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting the name? What? What's happening in my brain?
The second one.
Jedi Survivor. There we go.
Survivor. Yeah.
Survivor was excluded, and Hogwarts Legacy was excluded, and Starfield was excluded. Starfield was one that was one of the most anticipated games of all time. Jedi Survivor, obviously, I haven't played it yet. I think that I'll be playing that. Here at the end of this year, but I did play Starfield, and Hogwarts Legacy is one that I plan on getting. My wife and I talked about it. We're going to get it on the Xbox because we talked about getting it on the Switch, and she's like, I just want the best experience possible. And so she's down to get it on the Xbox and play on the Xbox instead. But it's interesting to see those three games removed, a remake be added, Paddy B. And then, honestly, I've heard nothing but good things about Mario Wonder, but that was not one I expected to make the list.
Do you think it's there just because of name recognition, because it's popular because it's Mario?
I don't know. I know that when Jedi Survivor came out, people were like, and this happens, every year. Games early in the year kind of have, they're at a disadvantage, right? Because games are going to come out later. And the number of games this year that everybody's like, oh, this is Game of the Year, this is Game of the Year, this is Game of the Year. I don't know. I just thought that the three that were missing would be on there. And I didn't expect Alan Wake, Resident Evil 4, or Mario Wonder to be on there.
Yeah, gotcha. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder why.
Yeah, I think that I don't think that She Who Must Not Be Named had anything to do with it, as much as there were some problems with that game at launch. You think about, but there's also things like the one that people were really mad about was actually the MMO for the new Final Fantasy not being on there. So. That's
gotcha.
kind of it for the Game Awards. And then you have some trailers you want to talk about.
Yeah, big movie buff. So there was a couple trailers that came out for some movies and TV shows. Marvel Studios' Echo is coming out. That is pretty exciting. I did love that character in the Daredevil series. And then two that may or may not be good. I'm excited for one. I'm excited for one. I'm not really excited for, based on the trailer. I'm excited for the Ghostbusters movie. I think Paul Rudd is awesome, and they've got the kids and the old guys. So I don't know. It's got this you freeze to death, because you're scared to death, and that it's Frozen Empire. It's a whole cold thing, so that's pretty sweet. And then Sony just keeps wanting to do everything Spider-Man that's not actually Spider-Man, with this Madam Web story, and I think it's rightfully getting murdered from line, as just trailer was not great for that. So Sony's doing everything Spider-Man except for Spider-Man proper. But I am excited for Kraven. That'll be cool. But yeah, I don't know if Madam Web has my attention.
I don't know. I saw a lot of people really excited for Madam Web.
Huh. Interesting.
So
maybe different.
We're running different circles, Paddy B.
Yeah. Different patch of the internet.
Yeah. I don't know what your TikTok looks like, but it's clearly not the same as mine. You're on upset people TikTok, and I don't stand for that.
Yeah. Anyways, I personally wasn't impressed either, So and then seeing.
I just love
some of the
Dakota
other
Johnson,
stuff,
so I'm
kinda-
excited.
Sure, yeah, she's great.
If you want to suggest a topic for the near future, head on over to the YouTube comments and drop one in. We gotta sit down and do a planning session and kind of talk about the show at the end of this year, and it'd be really cool to see what you, the listener, is wanting to hear about. So that's gonna do it. Paddy B, where can people find you?
Then you can find me on X at Paddy B MTG. Talk about nerd stuff there and magic stuff, bunch of stuff. Talk about a lot of stuff on Twitter.
You can find me at Heezy Game for most of the nerd stuff. If you want to see my sports takes, talk about fantasy football, stuff like that, that's over at Spencer, or it actually might be at Heezy Sports now. I actually changed that.
Heezy Sports on X, and then Heezy Game everywhere else.
Heezy Game. So Heezy Game is actually our the Heezy Game Media TikTok, which I was going to bring up next. One of my goals, and something we've talked about doing before, is like doing a TikTok for every episode, and I totally plan on doing that next year. So check us out there. I'll be talking about my thoughts going into reviews or stuff like that. So
perfect. Yeah, I've got that on my phone now, so I can be one of those TikTok kids.
TikTok kids. Like, subscribe, review. It's the best way, and then always share the show with your friends, your enemies, your family. Be that person that's sending a chain email. It's like, you know what? That's the best thing to do. If somebody sends a chain email to like your entire company, 2,000 people, and you're like, you know what? Here's a podcast. That would be great.
Oh man, especially if like it's a company where you're not like long for, right? If you're like planning on moving on to another company,
baby.
That's a great way to share.
Let's go. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see y'all next week on another episode of the Need to Nerd podcast.